Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. One more game coming up today to round things out. It'll be the four anchors and the sea captain facing off against Team Tinker. Another big one, the four anchors, now Trixie's team, Finn Stack, if you will. They took over the old Fnatic team's record, and still a chance to maybe make it into the top four with some tiebreaker scenarios. Team Tinker, they need a win here to continue in their spot of safety outside of the tiebreakers. So we'll see how this one unfolds. I'm Zyori, joined again by Blaze, and let's hop right into it. Blaze, buddy, how you feeling here coming into this one?
Great, man. After that super hype game and comeback coming out of Team Secret there, just showing what they can accomplish, it really is great to see this new era of Dota and what we have in store. Obviously, we're seeing some new meta tactics, or sorry, old meta tactics more so with what we see before us. But yeah, I mean, Skywrath Razor, Death Prophet Earthshaker, very, very common towards the previous metagame, and for good reason. They're very strong heroes when it comes to picking people off, when it comes to just anchoring around heroes like Razor and Death Prophet, revolving the fights around pushing and surviving, dealing a lot of physical damage. Yeah, it should be a good time.
Yep, definitely so. We haven't seen any Razor today. He's been totally ignored, but the four anchors, man, they're all about the Lightning Revenant, it seems. No stand-ins on either side of the coin. Boba will be doing the drafting for Team Tinker, and Jerax is doing the drafting here for the Sea Anchors. And again, you know what? I'm just going to get rid of this overlay. I keep forgetting. They haven't updated the roster. It is Jerax, Volix, Boogie, Trixie, and Matumba Man. That is the official lineup here for the Finn Stack 4 Anchors.
Yeah, so obviously they've been with the new blessed with the new rankings, obviously, because they had the majority of Fanatics players before that kind of schism between Trixie and Honey. So they have decent standings, but looking at the roster and how it's performed most recently, it's great, but it might not be tier 1 status just yet. Team Tinker, I think, are definitely the favorites here, and we'll have to see if four anchors can pull an upset. They definitely have coordination on their side. These
Yeah.
guys have been friends and pub buddies for quite some time.
Yeah, so looking at the standings here, Tinker did lose a game earlier, so they are now 10-3, has yet to be updated in the database. But the four anchors, they are 7-6, and a loss here will knock them out of the running. 6 losses is the the most amount of losses you can have to even have a chance at the tiebreakers, and then with 7, it becomes an impossibility. So this is really do or die for our Dire team, and we'll see if they can sink or swim, perhaps a more appropriate saying. They will go with the Rubik here for their third pick, and let's see, they ban out the Puck and the Fairy Dragon. Team Tinker, they ban out Terrorblade and also the Ember Spirit.
All right, this is pretty cool. I like Rubik as a hero to go up against the Death Prophet in general. Stealing Cryptstorm, stealing Fisher are going to be huge spells when Rubik hits 6, but they kind of have to prioritize his experience a little bit. And if he's just roaming, as you would expect with him and Skywrath, then he might not be able to find the consistency he needs to really get off his feet. I would almost entertain the idea of a core Rubik just to make sure that that's going to happen, but generally speaking, that's very rare. Like, I think 10% of Rubiks are probably core and the rest obviously support, but I don't know. Beyond that, the one thing that I'm really worried about is the fact that Sky and Rubik have just such low armor. If they don't get any farm, any levels, then they're going to be torn apart by this exorcism. And right now, they don't really have heavy burst to take him down. Like, the Skywrath is obviously a burst hero, but not in the sense that they can kill off the Death Prophet, because she goes for the early Yules and is able to avoid at least the full Mystic Flare. So they need some hard lockdown or some hard DPS for their next 2 picks if these supports are going to have any chance against those very painful spirits.
Yes, I completely agree with you, good sir. The burst damage is the bigger problem here, where the Mystic Flare, it's really bursty in like that level 6 to level 11 range, where DP is still kind of coming online. She's got her phase boots. But once the Yules comes out, that's where Mystic Flare just kind of just falls off. She can mitigate so much of that damage, and once she comes back down, she's that race car that's just cruising around Speed Racer style and very hard to lock down. Team Tinker will take their time, though, deciding what they want to do as the rest of their draft unfolds. Still a lot of options for them, and we'll need cores and supports alike. They will go for the Dro Ranger, and maybe looking for just a Dro Visage combo, rolling the dice here that the Anchors and the Captain will not want a third support in the Visage, forcing them to run kind of a core Rubik or a core Skywrath. So I like this play here.
Definitely exploits the fact that they're dealing a lot of physical damage right now, but I'm not sure about the Visage Familiars against Razor. If he gets big enough, the Aghanim's Eye of the Storm will bring those
10
birds
seconds
down within
remaining.
a second. It's actually really powerful against them. So, and not the
5
easiest line to
seconds
run Drow
remaining.
Visage against, especially since Rubik also likes to steal a lot of Visage's spells. But all the same, it's a very
Reserve
powerful
time.
strategy in its own right, and they've got the push lineup behind it. Death Prophet, Pop and Exorcism,
Radiant
Drow
team
Ranger
pick.
committing with the Visage will obviously fuel a lot of physical damage into towers, into Roche, and
Dire
it's going
team
to be
ban.
objective-based gaming for them. I'm almost actually curious if we're going to see a Tinker on top of this, because the Visage Birds are also very good at kind of being the limousine that the Tinker rides around in with those BOTs.
Yes, definitely so.
10
We
seconds
haven't seen
remaining.
much Tinker since the patch. The big thing now, you can't farm Ancients
5
with March, and
seconds
that's just kind of
remaining.
changed the state of that hero quite a bit. Have Team Tinker been running Tinker post-patch? I haven't cast too many of their games.
Radiant
They played
team
most of their
ban.
Starladder matches in 6.81.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat there. We've seen a lot of 6.81 Team Tinker and not that much in 6.82, but I think if the skill set's still there, it's still a good enough hero to pick up. It just isn't like a go-to. It's not going to be first ban against them, no matter how
10
well they perform
seconds
with it,
remaining.
because the hero did get some heavy nerfs. But I think it could be viable here.
5
The problem is
seconds
they're up against the
remaining.
Clockwork. Originally, you look at the Clockwork and say maybe that's a Drow counterpick, but maybe it's even a bit preemptive
Reserve
because Drow
time.
still can gust against the Clockwork, can knock him
5
out of the cogs
seconds
if he tries
remaining.
to close the distance. So. Yeah, we'll see. But for now, it's just going to be Spectre ban, Bat
Dire
ban,
team
and
pick.
4 Anchors need some damage. They really do.
Yeah, I like the Bat Rider band though. Would have been a great offlaner here, and can just allows them to get the jump and kind of keep the Dro a little bit more safe when you're constantly on the aggressive. Also, Earthshaker, another good hero, just to zone people out and try and keep the squishy Ranger in a safe kind of a scenario. So damage is the name of the game, but what are
10
their options here?
seconds
Razor will probably
remaining.
be headed mid. They need a carry. Maybe something like a
5
Slark could be
seconds
pretty
remaining.
Hmm.
solid.
Yeah, I like the Slark. I mean, they do have a lot of ground target disables, the Fissure,
Reserve
the
time.
Stone Forms, and the
True.
Gust to pull them away, but it's still a strong hero in its own right. I would like something with maybe some more burst, maybe a Luna or something like that. Her
Mm.
glaives are really good against the Visage Familiars too, but she also needs to get
10
durability because
seconds
the
remaining.
early game, the Soul Assumption is like the answer to Eclipse. A
5
couple of
seconds remaining.
Lucid Beams go out because of the Eclipse, then suddenly you're just going to get hammered
Radiant
by
team
that Soul
pick.
Assumption. They go with something
Ooh,
interesting.
snipper.
Definitely has some potential damage, and it is awesome against familiars. You get some points of take aim there. You right click those familiars down. They can't get anywhere near their targets for right clicks or stuns.
Yeah, I mean that's. I feel like everything in their draft you've pointed out is just like, oh, this is really good against familiars, and that's true. But there are a lot of other scary things on the
Yep.
Tinker roster than just the familiars. So,
10 seconds
the number one
remaining.
being the Death Prophet. Sniper is sort of bursty-ish with his
5
ultimate. That's
seconds
a big chunk
remaining.
of damage to follow up, and can lay into the DP pretty effectively. But
Mirana.
I don't know. There's the Mirana for Team Tinker, their
Dire
Sing Sing
team
hero.
pick.
This is a little scary. I think this 4 Anchor draft is a bit of a gamble, and I don't know. The Matumba Man Sniper is something that they've been doing a bit, so not the craziest thing in context of this team, but a hero that definitely has some weaknesses for sure.
I'm curious if we're going to see a try versus try matchup, or if it is just going to be like the Clockwork trying to suicide lane down bottom against obviously what we see the Earthshaker, the Visage. It's going to be a really rough time with him, even though he can block with cogs, and the Creep Equilibrium has sorted out for the Dire a little bit. Beyond that, yeah, obviously you just don't see a traditional offlaner here beyond the Mirana. So would do they want to get Sing Sing Farm is the question. If he's put in like a solo safe lane position while they go aggro with Earthshaker, Drow, and Visage, then obviously
10
he'll be able to
seconds
win out against the
remaining.
Clockwork because he'll have the Drow's right click damage or bonus. So
5
I think
seconds
that honestly I
remaining.
could see Team Ticker benefiting a lot from a 3v3 on the top lane.
Yeah, that's a good point. We'll see how the lanes come down. I'm rather curious myself here. And of course, we'll move into a pause as Team Marino, Tinkerino having some general issues. And what on earth is this Mirana getup? What is this hat? The snowstorm hood? She's preparing for a blizzard blaze?
Well, it's got like +1% magic resistance against Tusk and Crystal Maiden, so you get that nice pay to win stat going for you. But no,
Jinky the Lion. Oh my, look at this thing. Look, he's got dreads. I like it.
Something new.
Jinky the Lion.
Just yeah, interesting names on a couple of the cosmetics too. But
God. All right, I have never seen this cosmetic before. I like it, man. That's very distracting.
well, I'm sure we'll get used to it pretty quickly. At least he's not running the ability modifier on his arrow, where you see the thing is plain as day. That it's a really glowing artifact.
Wonky.
But
yeah. Oh, the Beaver Knight. It's a cute little courier. It's your Sing Pro gear right there, like that, cutie pie. And dire side, we got to do this here. Ooh, the little the weasel thing, the sloth, coffee sloth. He's cute. Nice. All right. So lanes, how's it gonna look for the anchors? Looks like Trixie will be headed off lane on the ridiculous clockwork set. It will be Jerax playing on the Skywrath Mage. Boogie here on the Grand Magus Rubik. They will be roaming around as Matumba Man takes the mid lane on the Sniper, and that puts Volix in the safe lane farming role on the position 1 Razor.
so they're going to be obviously just holding position right now. It looks like Sing Sing is going to indeed take that off lane. Just Tangos and Wraithband may actually do a little bit of ancient farming if he has a really rough time on the lane, but otherwise it's just going to be Bulba to pull it back with an early Fisher, and he should be able to get some good experience there.
Yep, and on the Radiant side, looking at Koikva in the mid on the DP, the 2-1-2 coming out, Pycat on the Dro, EGM on the Visage. They'll be in the bottom lane together, and Bulba, he'll take the Earthshaker towards the top with Sing Sing on the Mirana. He'll block out, so they'll get some nice lane control in the top lane. I think you were just talking about that, so it's good stuff coming out. Initial wards, we've got Dire Observer, one blocking the pole camp here, and Radiant going to put their first Observer on the high ground outside of their Ancients. Get a little vision control of the runes. Regen picked up by Mirana first, and the Bounty will get snagged by Trixie. There's also a lane ward down on the Dire side here up top. That means they are definitely ready to fight and put some pressure on this lane.
So we're going to see things started off here. Obviously, for anchors, they need to really gain a lot in the early game as far as farm goes, because very quickly Team Tinker are going to be ramping up their aggression. Around level 6 and towards level 11, Pycat can infuse his entire team with a huge amount of damage, and they're going to be able to bring down towers very quickly. So these first 5 minutes, they have to make the most of them, because soon enough the game is going to be dictated by Team Tinker's movements. This is the only time they really have things under their control. So right now it's Boogie moving around with the boots first against Koiko on the mid. Maybe just trying to make sure that he doesn't get first blooded, as Sniper is a little prone to that before he gets some points in his range. Yeah,
definitely. Bulba will just block out the top lane, then start roaming about. No boots on him, but he'll be the one just kind of working the jungle here. Without the pole camp down bottom, they didn't sentry it or try and get any control back. It will be a little bit difficult for Tinker to maintain lane control down bottom, which is great news for Trixie. He's getting harassed pretty hard and won't be your first blood coming out, but still taking a lot of damage despite finding some decent experience and already getting his level 2.
Yeah, that pull is actually really important for them, because obviously like they need clarities and stuff to get themselves going, and that's why obviously they didn't pick any up just yet. But if they don't unlock that pull, EGM's not going to get his independent experience, and that means Pycat's not going to get his essentially solo lane. They do get some good harassment on the Trixie. Obviously, a kill going in their favor would nullify these issues, but at least for now, getting the dual split of experience and getting absolutely nothing for Bulba is really bad news for them. They want to get experience momentum, and right now it's going to be going the other way. Bulba will stack up for Koikwa a little bit, and maybe when it's cleared out, he'll eat some of that experience by being nearby. But at least for now, they are going to be roaming around with level 1 and level 2 supports for quite some time.
Yeah, Joe Ranger still just laying into Trixie. Anytime he gets close to the creep wave, just throwing those frost arrows his way, and there will be potential for a kill once they get a bit more experience. Trixie will be a little late headed to the room. It will be picked up by Bulba, so some much-needed experience for him. Fissure will block him out, but nothing else that Bulba can do here. Now stuck inside of the cogs. Battery Assault doing some okay damage, but EGM is here, and this is likely to be your first blood. EGM will do it with the Soul Assumption, and Trixie will fall.
He has the ability to one-shot his own cogs and walk away from that. It's not like Bulba has another Fissure for several seconds, but he just didn't assume that Visage would walk over there and Soul Assumption him, and in the end, it's a Trixie feat, unfortunately. Yeah. I think I remember a stat like Fnatic had like an over 80% win rate when Trixie wasn't first blood. but we see that's not going to be to their advantage this time around. Sing Sing will actually get pinned down by 3, but leaps away, and there's telekinesis was already used, so he couldn't interrupt the leap with the TK. So Sing Sing will live, Boogie will chase, and in the end, just a few auto attacks will go against him.
Yeah, Boogie needs to be a little bit careful here. They start throwing out some pings like, dude, you're in deep. Koikva will rotate over. Only level 4, but we'll be able to do some decent damage to Boogie, and if he could path block him long enough to get some support inbound. Oh, Koikva, he gets high grounded. And
they have the flying courier en route, but still, it's annoying.
Not that bad, but still, that's just extra time he's stuck, and an extra TP scroll he has to buy, so that does cost him some. Apparently, Dryach thinks it's hysterical.
Of course, who wouldn't? I mean, we've seen high ground cliff from Rubik in a very, very long time, ever since they patched it for majority of the cliffs. But this is one you don't rotate around as much, and just depends on how you click it. We do see Trixie flanking on Bulba here. Could be really bad for him if he gets in range for the battery assault. The Bulba can't cast within the cogs, and we also see at the same time Koikva is being pulled back. So will there be a Fissure to disrupt this all? There it is, but it doesn't hit on the other two. They might still get him going in, but a nice arrow, and Trixie dies once again.
Oh, man, a noble effort, but the arrow rotation from Sing Sing spot on and makes it a 1-for-0 the opposite way. Boogie will grab the bounty. No! Sing Sing, he leaps in, steals the rune, and now Boogie taking a lot of damage. Sing will have an arrow up in just a second. May try to chuck it across the ravine here, then go for a follow-up kill, throws it into the lane, hits Matumba Man. Sing Sing, shoot arrow, hit arrow, and now this sniper in more than a lot of trouble. EGM comes in, the Fissure will block him out. They might be able to get Boogie as well. EGM with a big soul assumption stored up, but just can't get in position, and that'll make it 3-0 to get this game started, and Team Tinker off to a hell of a start.
Well, experience isn't going to be an issue here. They're getting a lot of kill momentum, and they are going to be building up towards higher levels before you know it. For now, Nighttime saves Rubik, as he definitely would have died to Soul Assumption otherwise, but, you know, losing the momentum of the game by far, the Clockwork being under the gun to get his level 6 and get some kills in their favor, it's bad news, because obviously we have some vulnerable heroes here. The Skywrath, the Rubik, the Sniper all drop down very low very quickly, and that's what makes this Visage Soul Assumption so strong. The Familiars, as we mentioned, might be a little lackluster despite being paired with a Drow, but the Soul Assumption is just going to be taking huge chunks out of their HP pools.
Yeah, I mean, it's already done a fair bit of work, secured that first blood for him, and Trixie just having trouble across the board. He's level 4, which is okay for this stage of the game, but only 6 last hits. He's already died twice. Just boots, stout shield, and no regeneration. As soon as Dro finds level 6, he needs to be very careful, as Podcat will definitely have some solo kill potential. Jerax smokes up to the high ground. Koikva, great map awareness, will just rotate up there. They have a ward down, reveals the smoke, and sees the positioning of the Skywrath. So he will not be successful in this gank. In the mid lane, going very well for Koikva. Sniper, 20-6 versus the 35-9 DP. So a very obvious advantage here for Team Tinker.
Oh, the room will spawn though, and Jerax will keep that covered. Sing Sing though, looking for a spell combo. No arrow just yet, but finally regen gets hit on Jerax, canceled out, and Sing Sing is getting assassinated. No mana to cast the arrow after the Starstorm, and actually the assassination was just canceled out by Matumba Man, as he probably is going to be heading back to base to get mana anyways.
Yeah, and
maybe. I mean, the creep wave's coming up top, so maybe he's just going to let it regen slowly. But the Aquila helps with that, of course.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know, man. What do 4 rankers need to do to get back in this?
They need this Clockwork to find level 6, and he's doing that right now. Once he has Hookshot available, I think that'll be the beginning of their momentum. The only one they have farming really well is this Razor. Volix has now found level 6, Power Treads, Ring of Basilius, and they might need to get him involved a little bit earlier than they would have liked. I think Razor will need to go for a fast mech. I don't know if that's going to be his item build of choice yet. Hasn't bought any items towards it, but I think an early mech and then Clockwork finding level 6, moving around to help set up kills will be the beginning of it. But even Skywrath not close to 6. Rubik is still only level 2. All right, scratch everything. Priority is get some experience on Boogie.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
And this is what I was talking about before, is that roaming around with the Skywrath, you're not going to be able to get too much. And yeah, he really, I mean, this is even low for a roaming support, even if he is 0/0/0. But yeah, this level 6 is extremely important too. Like the Clockwork, now that he has it, it's good for him, but they need to get a high priority kill with this hookshot in the presence of Rubik, because if without a spell steal on something like Fissure or Crypt Swarm, Soul Assumption Arrow, anything, they're not going to be able to follow that up with more blood.
Yeah, and Trixie taking
Oh,
a lot
Trixie's
of
dead?
damage here. Soul Assumption stacking up some charges.
Oh, bottle.
EGM will find it. The nuke, not enough to secure the kill, as he does sip up the bottle for some regeneration. But
That courier came out just in time, too.
Yeah.
If he hadn't gotten those bottle sips, that would have been a kill.
yeah, most definitely. Now the smoke rotation from Jerax and Boogie. Pycat on the high ground will reveal it. He's just going in hard here. Marksmanship doing a hell of a lot of damage. Boogie with the defensive telekinesis will buy them the space they need. Koikba coming in. Hook shot.
He's trying to get out. He was hit by the
Mark,
Fisher,
yeah.
hit by the Soul Assumption, and he almost got out with the hook shot, but whether or not it hit, he had already gotten the projectiles against him.
Yep, so that'll make it 4-0. And another kill on the clockwork. So that's Trixie now 0-3-0. Oh, and now at this point, he's died so many times, he just gets that mark of he's the weak one. And that's the target you want to go for when you're looking for just a freebie in these skirmishes.
Dire's
A
middle
lot
tower
riding on
is
the back
under
of the
attack.
Razor and the Sniper right now. Both of them finding some space to farm. Sniper is at least level 8. What's coming out on the Courier here? And that'll be his Power Treads and his Aquila. So that's something.
Yeah, I mean, we're always looking at these small progressions saying that's something, but there's nothing here that's putting them back in the game. Until they get another ultimate available, or somebody is just completely by themselves and Trixie punishes it, it's just going to be more pain going their direction. We do see Familiar scouting out Trixie here, and knowing that, they pretty much won't be caught out by him under any circumstance. So it's just back to farming and just at least stopping the bleeding by holding their position under the towers.
Yeah, Dro Ranger is getting huge, and Pycat going for just this early combative build. Triple Wraith Band on his Power Treads. A ton of early agility, and just going for that little edge right now. He is in fighting shape, and Mirana has now found level 6. Moonlight Shadows ready to rock and roll.
And that build is not just for him, it's for his aura. Everything's from agility, so the big thing here is just making sure that he gets 1 point in Gust and then immediately going for the max precision aura as quickly as possible. And at level 11, the damage is going to be so insane on the Familiars, on everyone. And we are going to see EGM go for the Aghanim Scepter very quickly, so it's very common in the strategy with the Drow Visage to go for a very quick Axe and get the third bird up. But he has to micro very carefully because they can drop quickly, but the damage they can put out is also very insane.
Yep,
Oh.
absolutely right. And up top, oh, pardon me, that was my bad. Razor will get picked off as they use their first successful Moonlight Shadow and bring down the Razor. Meanwhile, in the jungle,
Dire's top
Koikba chasing
tower
down
is
Matumba
under
Man, and he'll
attack.
play Ring Around the Rosie, but the Ghosts no fog, and it'll be 2-0 kind of across the map here, and it's not even done yet. Plenty of time left on the Exorcism.
He's gonna get him!
Koikba will
Oh
go
my
for it.
gosh!
Jerax won't be able to TP out, and Koikba, he's just soloing the world right now.
What can stop him?
No.
Without ultimates, if they had like a Mystic Flare, if they had Spell Steal, they could bring him down, but this is still level... The Rubik just hit level 3!
Structures are fortified.
Like, oh, this is such a shutout. And down bottom lane, at least there is going to be a solo kill. Trixie pins down the Visage, and he didn't have Summon Familiars available, so that's an easy kill. And on the mid lane, Pycat going down with one more right click. Volix will pick that up as well, so a couple of kills rebounding. But, of course, the tier 1 falling on the top lane.
Yeah, definitely right. The tower going down. And looking at the graph, that's just a minor pickup here after all this momentum they've grabbed. Rubik's still level 3, didn't get any experience out of those kills. And this is, yeah, still a pretty disastrous situation for the Dire side. Oh, up top, will they be able to find Sing Sing? Volix just barely misses the plasma field. And... yeah, that'll
Unless
be the-
Boogie's there, I don't think they have any kill potential against Sing Sing. Even 1 point in Leap, as nerfed as it is enough to escape from everything that Razor and Clockwork are attempting against them. But mid lane,
Yeah, Koikba and Bulba maybe in some trouble. The Assassinate flies through. The tower does get denied by Rubik, but just look at how much damage Boogie takes just from the right clicks alone. Oh,
That aura.
no. Now off to the backside. Pycat will lose some of his right click power. Koikba going in hard on Jerax. He's just clicking him down. This is absurd. He'll finally fall. It is Clockwork that ends the streak, so he gets a decent pick-me-up there with 1,800 gold now in the bank. But this Death Prophet, man, he's just out of control.
it's just absolutely insane. He's hitting for 140 damage against Skywrath because he has no armor, and because of the
Dire's
Drow
bottom
aura.
tower
This is
is
just
under
so insane how easily he makes this game look. But yeah, they're just racking up the kills. They don't get the tower. It was denied by Rubik, but in the meantime, Sing Sing gets the free farm on the
Radiant's
top
middle
lane.
tower
Visage
is
is
under
building up
attack.
towards his Ag soon as well. Only 1,000, not even 900 gold away from the Aghanim Scepter. And that's going to be perfectly in sync with his level 2 ultimate, the level 11 progression for Visage.
Wow. Just wow. Looking at the graph now, stagnating around 5,000 gold, 2,000 experience. It's only 2 towers down. Quickfoot will rotate down bottom, has his level 11, and he'll just use the exorcism right away. They want to finish off this tower, and Trixie will get caught inside of the Yules. I think he'll be hard-pressed to survive this one. Will take a silence. Nowhere to hookshot to, and Familiars will be able to chase him down over the tree line. Maybe he'll live as Volix comes in. EGM will take an assassinate. Down he goes as Koikva still standing his ground, doing as much damage as possible. It will just end as a 1-0 going the other way. So 4 anchors showing us they've got a sign of life if they have the numbers advantage at least. It was just 2 heroes on the side of Team Tinker. Hook shot will be off the mark.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he had vision right before Motoma Man closed distance with Korkoa, but in this case, they definitely need more. That was nice, obviously, but it's killing a support Visage. A couple of shots into him, like shrapnel ticks, and he's going to be down to 0 armor. So he is a very easy hero to pick off, but yeah, at least something. Trixie surviving, EGM falling, and delaying the Aghanims just a little bit there. But top lane, Sing Sing is fearless here. There really is very little they can do unless they connect with the silence from Jerax. They have to go concussive silence onto him immediately, but Sing Sing seems to be aware of the threat and phase booting away.
Yeah, with the Mystic Flare, they now have a semi-scary amount of damage output, but Sing does not have an ultimate here. Throws a fishing arrow over the tree line, won't find anyone, and they'll ping him out once more as he retreats to safety. Koikva and Bulba up to it again down here in the bottom lane as Familiars are hanging out, splitting the map. EGM rotating top. Now just one piece away from that Aghanim. Will join Sing Sing. It looks like they'll go for a bit of a fight as Sing Sing takes the silence. Mystic Flare. Not enough mana onto Jerax. Oh no, now Boogie just gets turned around on. Arrow flies through. Jerax will sidestep it. But that would have been a different story had he had just a slightly larger mana pool.
Yeah, and they can't make movements like that. Like, it's great for trying to go for the 2 versus 1. They do have kill potential, but bottom lane.
Yep, TP coming in, and Boogie will be the one to fly through, but Bulba just hits him with a dunk. Crypt Swarm almost brings him down. The mech will bring him back up. Koikva will get finished off. Bulba tries to TP home. Mystic Flare's on point, and it will be a 2-0 in the bottom lane, but up top, Sing Sing and EGM are pressuring this tier 2 tower quite hard. Glyph's already been used, and they will trade 2 heroes in exchange for a tower. EGM will pick up the last hit.
In theory, if they had immediately gone for a deny... okay, actually picking up a kill on Sing Sing through the Assassinate on the tail end of that. The Rocket Flare is at rank 3, so a little bit of damage from Trixie, a lot of damage from Motoma Man, and they do actually get a kill out of that, so that's not too bad. The only way the tower could have survived is if they had actually immediately gone for the deny on their tier 1 bottom, refreshing their glyph, and then using it as a time buffer to TP to the top lane and try to defend. But in the end, no next level plays like that. The tier 2 falls. The Visage finishes his Aghanim Scepter, and yeah, I guess he'll be resummoning in about 100 seconds to get that 3rd bird up. In the meantime, though, we do see Pycat starting to farm up the Ancients. He really wants that level 11. 4 points of Precision Aura is great with the Yasha, the 3 Wraithbands, the Treads. He obviously has given a lot of damage to Koikwa, but he wants a little more. We're going to see the arrow down bottom. Boogie was obviously denying the tower, and oh my gosh, that was close. But in the end, the arrow dissipates just behind his cloak, and he will be able to survive and farm up his level 6 off this wave.
Yep, falls short, and finally, 16 minutes in, we'll have a level 6 Rubik. I guess better late than never is what they say, and Pycat will be very close to his level 11 after this Ancient stack is completed. He's picked up the Yasha now, and just going for that good farming tool, getting a lot of extra agility also. EGM's now completed his Aghanim Scepter, which means he'll have another bird out on the field
middle tower
coming up
is under
pretty
attack.
soon here. So this is pretty good stuff coming out. All around the board. Yeah, Bulba's still very far off that Blink Dagger, but that's okay. To be honest, they almost don't need it at this point. The Fissures alone are enough to create the space. Sniper is starting to get some momentum, though. That Mask of Madness, always a risky item choice here, and if he can sit back and get off all the auto attacks, does have maxed out take aim. Of course, a lot of damage he can put out, but if they jump on him, that Mask of Madness is not going to do a hell of a lot.
Yep. So we're going to be seeing them just kind of spread the map a little bit here, just farming across the board. They've gotten nice control of the jungle and such like that, but it's going to be Pyke and EGM to make their smoke movement here towards the bottom rune and towards Roche. They could actually do Roche if it's not scouted out by Rocket Flare, but Trixie's coming by. Will he break the smoke? No, they get in the pit. Whoa. Just barely, and they see with their Radiant Observer Ward that he was nearby. The question is, will he find the opening? No, he Rocket Flares the other way, and this is a free Roshan for the side of Team Tigger. Such a sneaky play.
No medallion on the in the inventory of EGM, so it won't be that super fast Roche that they could have had otherwise. Trixie, he's in the vicinity, but he just has absolutely no idea. Or do they? They're starting to converge. 2 heroes are missing. Will they move into the pit, or is this just posturing for that bottom tier 1 tower? Invisibility rune picked up by Trixie, but Roche goes down, and Trixie goes, oh god, get the rune, get the hell out of here, and he will live. But Aegis of the Immortal goes in the inventory of PyCap.
Right under their noses, man. That is just absolutely insane. Medallion or not, they do crazy damage with this aura. And 3 birds are now up. Level 11 was attained because of that Roche kill. And PyCat is not going to be out in time, so at least the Aegis will be popped. But that experience given to the Vistas there is the most important thing.
PyCat now stuck inside of the cogs. Will take a Mystic Flare. That's enough to bring him down. Visage coming in. Has enough for a Soul Assumption to secure the kill onto the Skywrath. Now Bulba joining the party. Assassinate not doing enough to bring EGM down for a kill. Now Quakebutt flying in hot. Has the ultimate online. Mech's used by Volix, but he'll get stunned up by the arrow. Takes a Crypt Swarm. Instead, they'll just have to go from a Matumba Man. He gets dunked. That'll bring him down. And a stolen exorcism indeed, as you pointed out. Will chase down Sing Sing. He'll be able to survive, I think. Volix getting chased down by Koikva. His ultimate is still online. The ghosts are trying to catch up. The ultimate from the Razor ticking him down. Will they have the damage? The Crypt Swarm whiffs. That would have been a kill otherwise. And will just use the Yules onto the Skywrath, and they'll make the retreat. Chaotic exchange, but it is 4 anchors that kind of minimize their losses there after a nice steal from the Rubik.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the Roshan is really bad news for them because then suddenly Visage is level 11 with his Ags. He got so much gold now with the mechanism on top, and the Familiar's just going to do some crazy work. But at the same time, they did get a kill on the Drow. They did limit her progression a little bit, and they did get some much-needed golden experience. But I still don't see them having a full answer. Like right now, PyCat got a Blink Dagger, so he can reposition really well against his opposition. And as long as he survives through the fight with his aura active, he's already doing his job. Because if you actually do the math on the Familiars, essentially right now, the Drow aura is providing 50 bonus damage to each hero and each Familiar. And what that means is since they attack 2.5 times a second at 0.4 BAT, that you're doing 7.5 times that 60 bonus and every second for these Familiars. It's absolutely absurd numbers, and 4 anchors don't have an answer for it. The mech is okay, but that's all. And they just have to kill these things with the Eye of the Storm, which is now just rank 2 with no Ags.
Yeah, the Ags is on the way, but still about 1,600 gold off. Assassinate will tickle Koikva, but he has his BKB complete now, so he's pretty damn tanky just in general, and we'll have 10 seconds of magic immunity coming up in this next exchange. They are going to angle for this tier 2 tower mid. 4 anchors do have a glyph, and Volix just kind of cruising around here. They're looking for the right angle to initiate. Trixie, of course, wants a hook shot to get things started off here. He has found his level 11. Arrow flies through, almost hits Matumba Man as the Familiars come in to distract him. The Stone Form will not connect with any stuns, and over the tree line, the Familiars should be able to survive. Meanwhile, on the other side of things, the tower will start taking damage. They really want these Familiars. They'll find 2, and then they'll get resummoned right in the mid. They got at least 1. Maybe that was it, but this tower just getting melted, and they still have the exorcism available.
Sing Sing dodges an Assassinate with a leap there, and this will survive. The last right click against the tower is going to go to the Rubik. Very nicely done again. And he pulls out Exorcism number 2 at the last possible moment before it is forgotten.
Hook shot onto EGM. Moonlight Shadow will fly through. Trixie taking a lot of damage. EGM goes down, but it will cost Trixie his life. Visage gets credit for the kill with the Familiars. Now Koikva pops his BKB rather, uses his ultimate. They'll lose their Earthshaker in the front lines, but now Sniper completely isolated. Rubik goes down. That'll be the end of their Razor. Now Matumba Man stuck off to the side. Koikva can solo him down. Jerax takes too much damage, and it'll be a 2-0. A full wipe on the side of 4 anchors, and Team Tinker just doing too much damage.
Yeah, BKB on the Koikva, and they obviously have the physical damage output. This tier 3 is going to drop so very quickly. Familiars coming in, they're going to get the aura just manually by being within 900 range. And goodbye tier 3 tower, goodbye Rax, and possibly the very fast GG here, 22 minutes in. They don't have any answers. It's just too much tempo coming out from 4 anchors. They'll make their last stand, but it looks ugly. They'll be leaving. But one thing I want to talk about item-wise, I didn't want to talk about it until the viewers at least saw how unimpactful it was, but this Blade Mail pickup from Trixie, it's really lackluster. It doesn't do anything to the Familiars. So they're just going to be able to chew on top of them the entire time. I would definitely prefer a Vlad's or a Force Staff for some survivability.
Yeah, Sing Sing will get initiated on by Boogie. He'll steal the Star Storm, but hook shot onto Sing Sing. The familiars, though, just completely trucking the Rubik. He falls so quickly. They'll get the kill onto the Mirana, but wow, that damage output. You mentioned the word insane numbers, and that was pretty insane.
The funny thing is, that's not with the Drow Aura. Like, his Precision Aura is on cooldown, so that was just them
familiars.
doing work.
Oh, God. Yeah, this
no
this
armor heroes kind of don't do so well against that kind of physical deeps.
Yeah, this is starting to feel just a little bit over. 14,000 gold, 10,000 experience. This is pretty much that insurmountable lead at this point. Even if Team Tinker take a bad team fight, maybe two, they just have so much power and so much rebound power as well.
Yeah, so they're going to keep it going. Still no blink on Bulba, I guess, is the one saving grace for Anchors. He's been really putting into the support realm so that EGM can play the number 4. He can build up the big stuff, the Aghanims, the mechanisms. So Bulba taking it slow, but they still can maintain map control. And they will lose their tier 1 tower, though, as a sniper brings that down with the shrapnel and right clicks. This guy's got Mask of Madness. He's about to have his Maelstrom. Definitely some real potential with him, but only if they get the initiation.
Hook shot almost catches Pycat. Jerax will come in, and the Assassinate will follow through to bring down the Dro Ranger. TP's coming home, and there is a Sentry Ward down, so they need to be a little careful. The tier 2 tower does fall as Visage stays around long enough to finish it off. Jerax will get isolated on the high ground, and Fissure will lock him in place. So it's a 1-for-1 and a tower-for-tower exchange, but Team Tinker still feeling okay with this, and they're not done yet. They'll go in onto the Rubik, and telekinesis to buy him some time, but here come the Familiars. We remember how this happened last time, and Boogie, oh, he just gets destroyed.
Yep, so Earthshaker picking up a nice little kill there, getting the Fissure out at long range, and he's already halfway to the Blink Dagger now. So in this position, EGM looks to be going for a Rod of Atos on top, slow on slow when combined with the Grave Chill, and it just gives more deeps time for those Familiars to do their thing. So it really is on Razor right now. Thalix getting the Aghanim Scepter out when he TPs back to the base. If the Eye of the Storm could kill some Familiars with the help of Sniper's right clicks, they have a chance to hold, but it's just that, a chance. As we do see the BKB finished on the Drow Ranger, obviously Koikwa still has his 9-second one, and he's about to finish up a heart as well. He is just stacked.
Yeah, stacked is the right word here. 14k net worth at 25 minutes in. Oh, he'll get soloed down. Meanwhile, they're pushing the tier 3 at the base, and he just can't run from the Frost Arrows. Now the fight down bottom will break out. Trixie hook shots in, connects on 2, but to what avail here? He'll just get completely destroyed. Meanwhile, Koikva's just going hard against the rest of the team. Mystic Flare will be totally off the mark. Jerax will live, and Death Prophet will eventually get taken out as she overcommits. But that's a tier 3 tower dead, and maybe a sloppy fight from Team Tinker, though it doesn't really matter all that much. The DP will buy back, and looks like they do just want to try to seal the deal as Trixie. Oh, sweet Trixie. They'll give him a pass.
Oh, 30 HP. Yeah, if he Fissured immediately. Oh, no, Pycat won't. Blink again. This is the second time they've dived tier 4s, by the way. The Koikwa died under the tier 4s, but Pycat will walk away alive, forcing buybacks on the Rubik, who doesn't have anything in the first place. Yeah, these are the GG buybacks.
Yeah, I think that's an appropriate way to put it here. Jerax just gets obliterated once more. Boogie actually the first to go down. Mystic Flare, it tickles, but doesn't really hurt all that much. This is the end, Blaze. This is the end for the 4 anchors. This is the game that seals their fate. They'll now have too many losses to make their chance at the top 4. Pycat will blink to disjoint the Assassinate. Nicely done there. And this keeps Team Tinker in the running. So good chance they'll be in Kiev, though they still have another game to go. But I think this is where they want to be. They'll have 4 losses and still in great shape.
Yeah. This is just going to be the last stand here. They used the Eye of the Storm, got 1 familiar out of it, but that's it. Blink Dagger finally out on Bulba, and there it is. At least he is able to pick that up on the courier, if not his own person, by the time the game ends. But GG comes out from 4 anchors. We see the draft, we see the tempo, and now 4 anchors come up wanting as far as finding an answer for it. So good game, well played. Team Tinker dominant in this game, and it's really on the back of a very common but very solid draft. The Visage, the Drow, in this case the Mirana, and the Death Prophet are the ones to fill it out, and they hammer it home in 27 minutes time.
Yep. Again, just solid Dota. Nothing crazy about the draft, but Visage Dro, still something to be feared for damn sure. That wraps up our coverage today, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Zyori, joined again by Blaze, and we should be back tomorrow. There's only a couple days left of Starladder EU group stage. In fact, exactly 3 days. So we're in that tail end, and the top 4 getting closer and closer to being decided. So until tomorrow, guys, take care, and we'll see you then.